Okay, now we are on live right now. Hi everyone, and thank you very much for joining us in this first session of What the Fuck is Going On TV-wise. Before introducing what is this, I would like to introduce the people who is here today with us. We have Maria from Canary Islands. We
Hello.
have Joanna from Paris.
Hi.
Sebastiano, I don't know where are you right now, in Rome.
From Europe.
And then Daniele and Valeria from Milan, I think.
Yes. Hello.
Hi.
And I am Jonathan from Valencia. Well, this I will try to introduce why we arranged this first session, this kind of format we are kind of testing right now. I think we already know what TV-wise is. The network is growing old. I think we are already, if I'm not wrong, almost 2 years old or even more. And many things are happening. Many things happen during this time. Since we are growing, sometimes it's easy to lose track of what is going on in the network. Then the goal of these sessions is to try to connect, to improve the connection and the collaboration inside the network. Then the idea we came up with was to start testing this kind of format to make it visible, the different projects we are developing in the different circles of TV-wise. And I think today we have the pleasure to start showing or making visible the projects that are going on in 3 different circles. We have a project from Canary Islands in Spain, a project from Paris in France, and a project that is being developed by a group of people. You call yourself No Name in Italy. And well, I think I don't want to make it too long. Then I think it would be nice to, if we just start knowing these 3 different projects. The idea is that the session lasts no more than 1 hour or something like that. Then we are going to start with the first project. The first project is this toolkit that you are developing from No Name. I think if I'm okay, you are working in a toolkit that wants to be useful for the analysis and activation of design processes for territory, right, Sebastian?
Indeed.
Then it's all for you. If you want to start, we are listening.
Yes, I will share the thing. Ooh. Well, everybody's seeing the screen, my screen.
Yes.
Perfect. So, what is it? First of all, No Name, as Jonathan was saying, is the team, because we are a team of different part of Italy. They are interested in developing, in activating team of different part of Italy. They are interested in activating. Perfect. Okay, so what is No Name? No Name is the team that is developing this tool. And what is the toolkit? We want to design something that facilitates the processes of activation in the territory. So we are developing this series of tools that will allow all the activator of activatresses, I don't know how to say it, to activate a project processes within a structure that is understandable, easily understandable, outside the circle of designers and architecture, and so that. Where did it come from? The idea came from, you know, 4 initiatives that are already happening. They are already active in Italy. So one day we just met and we start to share what we were doing in these different, you know, territories and location. And we thought that we figured it out that we were just doing, you know, kind of stuff that are very similar, that really want to activate processes of sharing and building of project in our territories. So we begin to think how we can do it and together, and what we can do together. You know, remaining each one in our territories, but you know, building something greater. This this toolkit is thought for activators. I put, you know, a match, a box of match, because we are thinking about activators, just like that, you know, people that are interested in activating a project, and in different contexts, in different ways, each one different from one another. Just for that, where it can be applied from basically everywhere. So we are starting, you know, to develop this canvas. Now are three canvas. We are focused on the first part, because we divided, you know, the part of analysis and design. Now we started in October, and in this month we developed 3 canvases focused on the analysis of a territory. This is the first canvas. Is of course is in Italian, but we are working on it, and is the activator analysis. It is a tool to describe in a synthetic way the personal and the work profile of the activator. You know, it is something that is very useful. We thought that it can be very useful in order to build a team, so that all the skills that one have can be, you know, can match with the other of the team. So in order to build a very functional team and a very, you know, skillful team. The second one is the identikit of the territory, and is mostly very analytic and very focused on the quantity. You know, is a really an identikit. So, you know, the demographic data, the population, and stuff like this. This is maybe the most complex one, and is the collective imaginary. So is an analysis more qualitative, and the purpose of this tool is to summarize the information collected through field research, and you know, basically this will be done and completed after all the research in the field, the in-field research made it by, you know, a lot of different methodologies. Can be, I don't know, interviews with the territory, with the community, and after this you will be able to, you know, to put all the information based on how much they are going to be said. I don't know how to say it. More there is an information, and more it will be in the center, and so in the different circles. and the difference, in the vertical way, there is a smile and a sad face up and down, is the information that there are the answers that the people made that are or positive or negative. So this will give you a photograph of the territory and what the territory and the community think of itself and what is going on in the territory. So first of all, this is, as I said, this is the first part. We are going to to work on the other part, but why we don't have a name yet? Because it basically it has started as a very open process. We met and we started to develop these tools, and we didn't want to close it yet with a name. The name, it will be chosen in the next meeting that we are going to have, and it will be, we think it will be an English name, just because we want to be as open as possible and as international as possible, so that it will be used in France, in Spain, and wherever. It will be, of course, open source and beta permanent. That we all know what does it mean, but basically we are working on different stages. So at what stage are we? We are at the stage of, as I said, we just finished to develop the analysis. In the next month, we are going to, I don't know how to say, to pull out this this alpha version of the toolkit, and we are going to test it in basically this summer. We're going to test it in Recall Local. This is a very interesting event that happens in Campania, in near Salerno, and that is part of the No Name team network. So it will be beta permanent, because we want that every time we come out with a version, we are going to keep and to collect all the feedbacks and to bettering the tool. Our main goal is to test it this summer, and basically in the long term we imagine this tool as something that can be used by anyone, and that gives the possibility to more and more people to activate path of civic innovation. And of course we are going to it would be great to start to organize a workshop about this, and to events to make it better, basically. Yeah, as I said, we started as 4 people and 4 initiatives. Now we are 10 active people that are working on it, and we are just spread around Europe, because I am in Valencia and Ottavia is in Paris, and the others are around Italy. But we want to be as open as possible, as I just said, and so I think maybe in the global camp we can have a session about this. And this is it. Yes. Yo.
Okay.
¿Cómo se?
Thank you very much, Sebastiano, and the rest of the people from Italy who is involved in this project. I wanted to say hello to Ottavia and to Carlo, who arrived later. Hello. We are now, since we have we don't want to make it too long. I will introduce now the next project to be told. This is Joanna. I don't know if Joanna is available.
Okay.
Otherwise,
Okay,
are you
parfait.
available?
Oui, ça
Okay.
va. Hi, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, great. Then, sorry, I had this call I was waiting for, but it's okay. So, then I would start, if you want. So,
Again, sorry?
can I start?
Yes.
Please,
Okay.
go.
Okay, great. So I'm going to tell you about a project that we have been doing in Place des Fêtes. It's just close to where we work here in Volume. We are in Paris, and this is a square that is not always seen as a beautiful square. It may appear like a bit of a hard place to be. So what we've been doing is that we worked during a week in making some furniture that is a way, well, it's part of a process to define the new configuration of the square. So we've been working during 1 week with the local inhabitants in order to build this furniture and also make some painting around and test how the square could be in the future. So this is part of a project called Réinventons les Places. This is a program in Paris that is introducing all this tactical urbanism and pop-up urbanism as part of the design process. So we were called by practice, an architecture practice called 14, that is working on this project. And what we found very interesting as CivicWise is that 14 was really focusing on the design part, on how the place will look like. And we, the CivicWise team, was focusing on the community building. So this is a project that, well, this process, this 1 week process, had in fact two very different goals. On one hand, doing a collective design, a participatory process on the design conception, and on another hand, it was articulating or creating this community, because on this square, what happens is that we have very different population that would cross, but it's not always easy to put people together. So during this week, that was during the summer in August, we managed to put together very different people, such as is a migrant center where there are a lot of people from Sudan, Afghanistan that are living there. So they came to build the furniture in the square. Then we have the locals, like a lot of children that would come and that in fact had this chance of learning how to build and how to use the tools. And then all ages, all origin people. So it was very, very interesting to put these people together. And during this 1 week time, we could have this feeling of being a community, of being part of the same neighborhood. So what I would say is that we had the chance as CivicWise to be focusing especially on this community building, and that this made us question about the. So I want to go back. Okay.
Joanna,
Yeah.
I think I know you prepared a presentation, but I think you are not sharing the screen. You know.
Oh, really? I was only really.
We
You
are not.
didn't. Oh,
Yes.
you should have told me before.
I thought you were trying to.
No, I
introduce
thought
it.
I was sharing. Oh, I'm so
No,
sorry. Then I
no,
will do
no,
it now.
I just say it because I saw some images and I think it's very interesting to show it because it's
No,
very.
I was sure I was talking with the presentation. Oh, I'm sorry. So now, are you able to see it now?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm sorry because you saw my face only. So
Okay. Now. Yeah.
then this is the square I was talking about in Place de Fête. And this square that is from the 70s. It's a lot of very high buildings, so it's not an easy place to be. And then we were working with all these communities in all this group of people in the square, and especially with the people from the refugee center. And then it was a moment to learn about how we built furniture, to make people question how the square was being used, and to make people think about different designs that the square could have. And in the end, this helped us to put together the people around. So that's it. Now I was sure I was sharing. You should have told me before.
Don't worry. I think it's
So
clear.
yeah. So yeah. Now I came back, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what I would say as a particular point is just that we are in a program that is set by the Paris City Council, Remonter les Places. It means that it's not our idea to use tactical urbanism, but that we were called to be using this one. And then that this is seen especially as a design process, but we are bringing up more the community making dimension. So this is what I would say from this project. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Joanna. I think we will have time later to discuss and to make some questions because I think we can see already how interesting is the difference between the projects we already saw, because the first one is more about tools and this one is like very like taking a lot of action in the beginning. It's something we can discuss later. Now we have Maria and Laura they are in Canary Islands.
Hello, everybody.
Yeah. Hi, Maria. They are going to talk us about the Islario project. It's a project that aims to create a collaboration network for the development and entrepreneurship of young people inside Santa Cruz of Tenerife. But if you can start if you want, Maria and Laura.
Okay, I'm gonna put the clock just to be on time. I'm Maria from Canary Island. She's Laura from.
Hi, I'm Laura from Valencia.
Yeah, and Adrian is in the next room working on the project because right now this week is a very full of things week. It's a special week, so we are sharing the work right now. So first of all, thank you very much. I want to start sharing my screen. A ver. Is it working?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Toma, coge esto. Vale. First of all, Canary Islands is here. Okay. This is so important. Why is important? Because the next local camp is going to be here. So I have to say that if you want to join the next local camp in April, the moment is right now because it's going to be so cool. And the project Islario is happening in one of the places of the future local camp. So the second thing that I want to say before my presentation is that I really like the project of No Name because they are developing different tools, and maybe later we could talk about one common tool that we have right now in Civic Wise that is called I Am Panel. And I know that Carpe use it. Also, we use in a factory in Valencia, and we are using right now in Mestura, a project in Fuerteventura, another island, and also in Islario. So just to keep this thing for later. So our presentation here. Do you see my screen? Oops. Hello?
Yes, Maria.
Okay. So, Islario is a... One second, quítalo.
Estoy muy nervioso.
Vale, pusimos el tiempo, pero lo quitamos. Islario is a project that of the Council of Santa Cruz de Tenerife, the Educational and Youth Council. So, the name is around the description of an island of the sea, continent or nation. So it's a map in which they are represented. And this is our first moment right now, how to create a map as a tool to activate a city network of youth people. And the main idea is how to make visible the things that are happening in an invisible environments. And the global framework is how to create a citizen laboratory and how to propose to create a collaboration framework among actors, initiatives, and youth spaces for the development of mutual and collective entrepreneurship in Santa Cruz de Tenerife. This word for me is so difficult in English. So right now, we are trying to activate this network around actors, initiatives, and spaces in Santa Cruz de Tenerife. And as you may know, in CivicWise, we are working with same values as collective intelligence located. I'm not going to explain this because I think that maybe we can talk about it later because, for example, collective intelligence we have in common with No Name and also the project in Paris, for example. And we work also with mutual entrepreneurship and collective entrepreneurship, how to activate this network, not about our personal works, and how to activate joining the works as we make in CivicWise, how to activate a network like we are doing in CivicWise in a global perspective from one city. For example, this is an example of collective entrepreneurship is a co-housing process. And this is an example of a mutual entrepreneurship. That is a project, for example, in a small neighborhood. So this project talks about how to create distributed networks and multi-pertenency and how to understand that my project joining with your project could activate a common project in the city, more or less. So this project is not about participation because in this project we have a main idea that the participation, that is something that we can talk about later, is not the only way. The interesting way is how to create all together that have inside participatory process. So we know how it's going to be the first phase, that is how to create a map as a tool. And then we want to build with all the community that we are activating the next processes. So this is more or less the most important part. Not the things that we want to do, more important how we want to do all the things. So this is more or less the main calendar of this month and a half. It's very intense. It's around how to create 3 sessions to activate the network, the young network, and also how to find places, spaces, and actors in the city to join this network. And we already know in CivicWise, I think everybody are talking in different projects around that to create a network is important to, first of all, activate collaboration spaces and activate communication channels. So what is happening right now in Islario is that all the things that I explained at the beginning are difficult to activate because we don't have communication channels right now in Santa Cruz de Tenerife, and we don't have enough collaboration spaces. When we say collaboration spaces, we mean physical and virtual. So the first thing that we found at the beginning was that the young people doesn't interact as other people, other citizens in the city. The young people maybe don't believe in associations, don't believe in how to participate in the city because they don't trust right now in the city, more or less. So they move in informal environments. And this is something that we found 1 or 2 weeks ago and changed everything in the project. So how to find informal places in the city to create new channels of communication. Because, for example, if we send an email, this is something that happened last week. If we send an email to the 400 emails of the associations in Santa Cruz de Tenerife, they don't have young people inside. And this one says to us that young people moves in another environments in the city. So this is something very important, that the young people moves in informal environments. So the 3 sessions turns around how to find these informal environments. And for us, for Islario, formal environments could be, for example, your work, your ways to participate in the society in regulated spaces. No formal environment for us is how do you participate in an association, but voluntary, so you can decide if I want to join or I don't want to join. And the informal environments moves around no defined structures, happening whatever they want to happen, and around life and exchange experiences. So the most important part right now is how to build something to give tools to the young people, and also how to receive the tools and the knowledge of these young people. So this is what we call reciprocity. What is a mutual entrepreneurship? What can Islario bring to the people, and what can young people, bring to Islario? So this is the definition of mutualism. And for us, Islario right now recognize that we have a physical space, that is the thing that you are seeing behind us. Okay, right now no, because we are sharing the space, the screen, and this physical space is related with the Civic Factory, that is a project of the global network of CivicWise. So it's something interesting. And also we have a digital space that is Red Canaria de Cooperativas de Plataforma. You can check this webpage, and this is another project, and I don't want to explain right now because it's too long. So the third thing that we give to the people is the common values and common methodology. And this is something very interesting that maybe we can join with No Name project, and also with the project in Paris, that is related with, with common language. For example, in CivicWise, we talk about intelligent collective located, mutual entrepreneurship, distributed networks, or multi-pertenency. These words are so difficult to explain in English for me. And then we also share different topics. These topics, as you may know, are the topics from so similar of the topics of Civic Factory. And for us, this is so important because it's a way to join with a global project. How to start to build local projects, and how to, with these local projects around the world, we can push the global project of CivicWise. For us, this is so important. So we take knowledge of the common projects in CivicWise, use in the local context, and then share again to the global community. And this way, for us, could change the community of CivicWise, because we start to talk about the same language. So some things that for us works very well in other projects of CivicWise, we take in the same way. And then we share with better things or with a new knowledge. And then those are different pictures of the first session. We are right now in the middle of the process. And this was on Monday, sharing this knowledge in the first session, in how to take this informal knowledge in a map, and how to also build something that is not a map, is the knowledge about how is working the association movement in Santa Cruz de Tenerife. So, as I said, this one could be a great platform to, the Islario could be a very good tool for the young people to start to build their own projects. And more or less, this is the main idea, no? Laura, do you want to add something?
No, you explained it perfectly.
More or less. Okay. So you can see more information, but in Spanish, sorry, in Islario.es. And as we said all the time, Islario will be everything that we want to be. And that's it. I know. A ver.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Maria, Laura.
Sí.
Okay, we can see you now, right now. You are in the same space, right? You are in the page where you are working on study, you said.
Yes, right now. Because in Canary Islands right now, we are joining all the projects in the global project of the community. So, for example, Islario could happen in another space, but for us it's important to start to join all the projects in the same place at the same time and sharing a lot. So, because we think that if we start to build in the local community, then goes up and build a global project.
The local thing,
The
no?
local idea, yes.
Okay, now we already saw the 3 projects we wanted to know today. I think it's very interesting because we can see that the 3 of them are very different and they are in very different stages of, I don't know how to say, of development. And probably we can share knowledge, tools, things we learn. And I would invite people on YouTube and also all of you, Octavia, Carlo, all of you who are here. If you have any question or any thought about the different projects, you are invited to ask anything. And we have about half an hour, or maybe we can give 10 more minutes or something like that for this debate. Joanna, you wanted to say?
Yeah, I have a kind of suggestion, or yeah, I realize how far we are away now because suddenly I see some information from Canary Islands, from Italy, and maybe what I would say is that even if we share the same culture and we share the same approach, that we are not confronted to the same needs. So the context in which we work is so different. So maybe the first step when we talk about projects abroad would be talking a bit more about context, because I can guess that what is saying Maria is so pertinent, but I just guess. I mean, I don't know. I am just guessing that this is the good answer to a problem, but or to a situation. So what I think that we should share not only projects, but especially sharing knowledge about context, because then maybe I will find a context that is similar to mine, and then I say, okay, that's the project I'm interested in, even if I everything is interesting. But yeah,
absolutely, absolutely. For example, in Islario, the situation that we found in Santa Cruz de Tenerife, I'm sure that is happening in other cities because it's young people. With and for me, with young people, the context is not the city. The context is young people. So it's a project between 18 years old and 35 years old. People that is mostly millennial, you know what I mean? So these people works in a different way. The idea that we found 2 weeks ago that the people moves in an informal environment, I think it's a knowledge that we have to share with the community and start to, for example, create a global project and how to start the same project with the main concept in different local concepts. This is the first step, because the methodology to start to build a network, we already know how to find physical and virtual spaces of collaboration and how to build new channels of communication. And I think that what is happening in Santa Cruz de Tenerife absolutely is happening in other cities. So this is the thing that you are saying, how to talk about context and how to start to build the same project in relation with this. Absolutely agree.
And another thing I wonder is maybe we should explain also the mission itself, because what I don't understand from Islario is which is the role of the public administration. I don't understand if you are working next to them, if you are in a, like you are associated, or you're working for them. So I do think that it looks like being obvious, but it's very different in each territory. So yeah, context and also the relation to power, like to.
Yeah. Is a question?
Yeah, I would like to know,
Okay.
and just open it as well as
Okay.
something that, yeah.
Okay, it's an experiment. We are working for the public administration, but it's a project that costs 8,000 euros. It's something that I think we have to share in CivicWise. So it's a small quantity, a very small quantity, but it's a small quantity because it's an experiment. We are testing in 3 months what is happening with the young people in Santa Cruz de Tenerife. So if the project has potential, maybe, we don't know, we want to invite other councils of Santa Cruz de Tenerife. But right now, it's a small project for the Education and Youth Council, for the people from 18 years old and 35 years old. Why? Because they already know that the government is putting a lot of money for to the people that has problems. But what is happening with the productive people? The people that has studios, is prepared, want to work for the city, but they don't have alternatives. So Islario, the idea is how to create a network to prepare a framework to start to create projects. So Islario is not a project, it's a framework to build new projects. So right now, we are testing Islario.
Thank you.
There is something very interesting you said, Joanna, about this local dimension, no, of CivicWise. Finally, we always say that we work in this double dimension where we try to share the global knowledge in different local circles. And as you said, I think it's very important to know and to understand how is the context, no, itself. And in this sense, and because I wanted to connect it to the No Name project, I think it's very interesting to develop this kind of tools or toolkits that aims to create something to share all this knowledge we are developing in local circles. And in this sense, I don't know. I wanted to ask you to Sebastiano or Daniele or the rest of the people, if you have thought how can be the tools to keep it on permanent beta status. I mean, how can we, for example, if we use the toolkit or the canvas in Spain, how can we share the knowledge or the experiences we have with areas with different
I answer. I don't know. We think we didn't think about it a lot, because we are developing, and it's an open process. So maybe the local is an occasion to think about it, because it can be, I don't know. Basically, I don't know if the others have an answer, but I think it can be building a platform, but in a way we already have. It can be with in presence, like jam workshop and something like that. It is open. We can think about it together. The best way,
I think that if I understood your project, I think I understood your project absolutely. It's so necessary right now in CivicWise, because we are a very potential global community, and we are starting to build different projects with so similar methodologies. So, for example, you are building these tools to activate projects, whatever the projects are. So, for example, as I said at the beginning, the I Am panel, something that we create and something that we test with different projects. And I think this one is something that works very well and could be very good if we put in every project, because it's like a mark, of CivicWise. Like CivicWise always do this physical thing in a participatory process. So these things for me, starts to build the identity of the community, the way that we work. And I think this is something necessary right now, civic-wise. So, for example, to share these things are very important for me.
I would like to make an intervention, maybe. So it's not a criticism, but it's just that you, Maria, you say it would be nice that everybody would use this. But what I do think is that it's not that easy to be using your tools for a different context. So I think that there is a kind of step in between when we should be presenting the tools we are creating. And because it's not that obvious. For me, what you said, it sounds very good for Canary Islands, but I cannot see how this would be useful here in Paris. So I do think that if we are creating tools or, I don't know, methods, whatever, we would need a time to explain why this tool is so great. I mean, I would need maybe another Hangout only to present the tool that you think it's that great. Because there is a lot of things that I should do too much suppositions. Like it's not, yeah. So
yeah, absolutely agree. But for example, imagine in the future that we all have a book or a folder in Drive so easily with a different tools, so general. The content have to be the local content, but the tool, like this is a map. I'm putting my example, but I want to know your examples. This is a map of a physical interaction to start a participatory session. That's it. You can use it or not use it, but you have a main folder in CivicWise of a lot of tools. So if you want to create your own project, whatever they are, you have different tools and methodologies, but personally CivicWise. So it's not the process, it's the tools to create your process. I don't
as the process that we... Oh, sorry, vai, Carlo.
Ciao belli. I try to understand the conversation, and I think it's really important to share information about the context. I think that more information about the context, I mean, context can be really, really different. So if we apply a tool to a context, maybe it's more important to see how the tool works in the context and trying to understand like the peculiarities of that context in order to understand how the tool could work in another place or another environment. And moreover, I think it's quite risky to have a quite structured tools that we want to use to every context, because I think we should like try to keep flexible the tools in order to really be able to face all the contexts where we are. So that's the challenge for me, I think. So keeping the flexibility at the same time, trying to have a sort of I would like to say common way of doing the things that could be useful for the entire network. That's my point.
I agree, and that's why I was asking this thing of the permanent beta mode, because I think it's good to have tools, to have common tools, but always, or just if we are able to keep in mind that those tools have to be open and have to be readapted to the very different context. And something Maria said it before. This tool you were talking about, we tested it in the first time here in the Civic Factory in Valencia. Then later we used in Sarsa Oberta in a project here in Castellón, a city close to Valencia, and then in Mestura, a different project, and you are using it now. I'm pretty sure that this tool is very different right now. I mean, it has changed a lot.
Yeah.
And then what I would be worried about is how are the protocols, the things, I don't know what, to gather the knowledge from local circles, from local experiences, to reflect it on the global knowledge. That's why, I mean, I don't think it's bad to have tools if they are really open and they are able to gather the knowledge from the different experiences we are having.
What I would say is that sometimes it's not enough to have a description of a protocol, of a tool, because even if there is a lot of information and like very interesting information, I think that we have to imagine also a learning context. For me, all the tools I've been using from other people is not because they put it in a wiki and because I downloaded. It's because I had next to me the person that have used it and that were telling me, look, this is what I really enjoyed, this is what. So the more qualitative information, like very subjective information, is the one that you really need to use that thing. So I think that it's not enough only creating protocols and having nice visuals of each tool, but we just need a learning place, a learning context. And maybe this learning context is GlocalCamp. Maybe, I don't know, it's this, sometimes these calls we are doing like, hey, I downloaded this, how can I use it? But I think we'll never manage to create a support that it's like enough only by itself. We always need to be like a bit accompanied. I don't know how to say. Yeah, to be, yeah.
Just one thing, Maria, because Pascual cannot be here, and he was just adding that he thinks that what should be put in common more than tools are methodologies, as a complex selection of different tools. What do make it flexible to context is that are open tools and methodologies. He says that we need open and responsible tools and methodologies. I think it's quite connected with this thing you were saying, Joanna, maybe that we need not just tools, but also context and methodology. Maria?
If I can.
To a colleague.
Yes. I think, for example, we are not we don't want to create the super tool, you know, the tool that is perfect for every context and every territory, and it's mandatory to use it if you are part of CivicWise. It is not like that. What we were thinking, it was to create something common that is useful, basically starting from the various contexts and the various projects to reach, you know, something that it can be useful and more flexible, as flexible as it can be, but it's, you know, something that what Maria was saying that for me is very, you know, precise, is to speak in the same language, you know, just to build that language. Because if I don't know, basically is this, and for me this is the beta permanent, because if I use it in Sardinia, it would be surely different from Paris and from Canary Island, surely. But you know, how can it would be it can be responsive to this different context? That's what we have to build, and we have to structure together. That's why
we started with an analytics canvas, not the canvas for design. So with this canvas, we can analyze the context and the team and try to find the fit between them. So after this, we can start to design. Every context will have different results in the first in this first stage of our toolkit. So this is what we are doing.
Yeah, Maria, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I think that all of us have the reason, because it's something in between for me, Sebastiano, and Joanna. So it's something that we have to be resolutive with our tools. For example, Civimetro is a good example of a common tool. And also how to understand the context, as Joanna is saying, and understand that Paris is not Canary Islands and these things. So this is only the thing that I want to say. And I think it's start to build these tools, whatever they want to build. It's a topic very interesting. Artemi, this message is for you, for Local Cam in Canary Islands. So that's to say this. And I think it's so related with No Name Project.
But can I say something? For example,
Joanna, just one thing, because again, Pascual was saying something, and he was indeed saying that, pointing that we in CivicWise have been talking many times about the labs, and the labs indeed are that learning context that you were saying, Joanna. And I think what we should do is to work further to develop those labs in this kind of formats, like we are doing. And just want is that.
Yeah, yeah, you are completely right. But I was always also thinking that what I would really like to have from all of you is more information of the experience of using tools. And for example, only writing articles, or I don't know, doing short videos about how the experience, which are the difficulties you face when you have a project, which are the points that you are very happy of, even if somebody from outside won't understand why it's so important, but for you it's really important thing you obtain. So I would really like to have more, to have an access, like towards the discussion you have in your groups of work in your team, because yeah. Sorry. So yes, yeah, because the protocol and the tool and the approach, all this is something that it's given to you, but yeah, I think that it have a value related to a context. It's we won't arrive to have the solution of everything. It's only an attempt. I think each protocol, each tool is an attempt to resolve some situation. Okay, sorry for this interruption.
Don't worry. I just wanted to say something. We should finish in 5 minutes, more or less, and then we keep it in 1 hour. I think it's good that we keep the session very long. Then if any of you have any questions or comment, I don't know if Fabia, we can hear you before, or Daniele, or well, or maybe somebody on YouTube. We have 1, 2 last questions or comments, and then we finish.
I want to say a thing.
Yeah.
Can I?
Yes, please.
I think we should propose this format. I don't want to say like every month, often, because it's quite important that every one of us really know what's going on really in CivicWise. That's my opinion, because it's quite hard to lose what's going on. So maybe we can work to make it like I don't know, like fast and easier. We can work on the format, but in my opinion, that's my need in this moment, is to like have an appointment like where we can speak about what's going on in the network. There's a lot of things really going on in the network. That's the thing.
Somebody wants to add something? If not, I will say that Maria, I finish and then you. The only thing I wanted to say, Carlo, is that the idea is that we should, if we are able to, we should repeat this format. I agree, often. I don't know if every 2 weeks or every month or something like that. And we can work in the topics we discuss together, because I think we can foster, I think is the word, foster the collaborative process inside the network. And I think there are a lot of things we are learning in every circle, and if we share it often, I think we will work in a more collaborative way, and we can improve our project. And Maria, you wanted to add something? No?
No, I think it's okay like this.
Okay. Then I see there are comments. Pascual was saying, again, the space to organize this should be the labs. So if I need information about housing and habitat, I can go to Habitat Lab. If I need something about Civic Tech, I go to Civic Tech Lab. I am totally agree. I think this is a very good format, and would be nice if we would be able to have from this local dimension discussions in the different labs. But I think we can continue testing this format. If you are agree, maybe we can see what's the topic of the next session, and maybe I see you in 1 month or in 2 weeks. It is something we can discuss later. I don't know how you see that. Okay. Yes, Joanna.
I would add something is that what I would really like to see is a conversation between 2-3 people that are having similar projects. I think today it was just the first day to test, but even if this could be done within a lab, I think it's interesting that, for example, I could hear a conversation between Artemi and Bentehui, between you and all the people that are working on this Barrios Lab. So yes. I do think that this can be an open format to all CivicWise network of maybe a lab that is proposing a subject, and the same with other, like.
This could be a good idea to maybe what the fuck is going in CivicWise, and maybe Barrios Lab edition, something like this.
Yeah.
In labs.
Then I think it's a perfect way to finish. I take this suggestion, and I would say that maybe the next session should be about Barrios Lab if you like the idea, and then we can set the next session, the next date, and we see. Then I would close to keep it in 1 hour. I thank you very much to everyone who was in YouTube. Thank you very much to all of you. It was very nice to share this moment, and hope to see you soon.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Ciao.
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 Ciao.